Welcome back to the NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. Follow us on Twitter at NFL Draft Bible. And we are now joined by 2018 NFL Draft prospect, defensive end out of Sacramento State. He's Ben Sorensen. And Ben, we really appreciate you taking some time out of your evening to chat. How's everything going?
Everything's going great, man. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Hey,
just living the dream right now, just training a couple times a day, just trying to get ready for this pro day.
Absolutely. The pleasure's all mine. And let's start off right there, Ben. When exactly is your pro day, and where's it going to be at? Will it be at Sacramento State? Are you going to get into one of the bigger universities' pro days? What's the update there?
So we're scheduled our pro day. We're combining it with UC Davis's. So, and I think a couple of Humboldt guys are coming down. We're trying to make one big NorCal pro day. And it's going to be at UC Davis on April 4th at 1 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Last time you guys went up against UC Davis, you guys got the 52-47 victory, and that was your last game there at Sacramento State. Do you think there will be any conversations about that game at that pro day?
Yeah, me and my teammates were joking around about bringing the trophy over to that field on the pro day, just put it on the field while we're warming up. But we probably won't do that. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be some playful conversation between us and the Davis guys.
No doubt about it. So Ben, talk a little bit about your journey to Sacramento State. You are there from California. I see, reading your bio, your brother is actually a quarterback at Fresno City College, so I got to think growing up you guys were very competitive. I got to think it's pretty fun, being a defensive end and then having a brother play quarterback. I got to think there's been a lot of battles throughout the years between you two. Kind of just talk about this journey, though, to Sacramento State, coming out of high school. How did you ultimately land there? And just looking at we'll get a little bit more into your collegiate career in just a minute, but how did you ultimately wind up at Sacramento State coming out of high school?
Well, as you said, my brother and I, we were very competitive with each other, and through that competition, we developed a relationship, that's like no other. He and I are very close, and the reason why I ended up at Sac State is because actually he was offered a scholarship to play there out of high school, and I thought it would be awesome to be on my brother's team again. So I was fortunate enough to get the offer, and I decided to go with it. So that's how I ended up over at Sac State. But he ended up transferring out to Fresno City College, and then he ended up finishing his collegiate career at University of Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Okay.
So, awesome. But I still had a great experience at Sac State.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you had quite the career. 2013, your first year there, you redshirted. You were actually the defensive scout MVP. So I got to think that although you weren't really getting any game action, I mean, you certainly made the most of it whenever you were able to get the helmet and pads on. And then, fast forwarding, I mean, you're named the starter, or you started the final 10 games of your sophomore season at defensive end. You're an honorable mention of the All Big Sky honors, and then fast forward 2016, you played you started 10 of 11 games your junior year, and then 2017, you're named third team All FCS. You're named first team All Big Sky, and you led the conference with 10 quarterback sacks. Just talk about this journey of yours, what this experience has been like for you at Sacramento State, and looking back when you first signed your letter of intent to attend Sacramento State, did you ever think that your collegiate career would play out the way that it has?
Throughout my experience here at Sac, it's been a great one, but I obviously couldn't have done it without the people around me. I was blessed with what I think is the best defensive line coach in all of football, Coach Will Clemens. He really elevated my game, and I've had some of the best teammates, helping me out along the way. I just feel like it was a perfect fit for me, with the teammates and coaches, and everything coming together at the right time, and everything ended up just working out just fine.
You mentioned your defensive line coach, Will Clemens, and then, of course, the guy at the head of it all, Jody Sears, head coach. And what you guys as a team have been able to do over the years. I believe it was in 2014 you guys finished 7-5, a winning record. And then the next 2 years, specifically when you were able to see more playing time, Ben, you guys finished with only 2 wins each of those 2 seasons. And then here, your senior year, you guys finished 7-4. And again, the Big Sky, I mean, it's one of the top conferences in all of the FCS. There is a lot of great talent in that conference. Northern Arizona, Southern Utah, Weber State. You can go on and on about the talent in that conference. I gotta think although you didn't see a great deal of team success throughout your time at Sacramento State, I gotta think it does feel pretty good though leaving with a winning record, with a big victory against UC Davis to finish your collegiate career.
You know what, Chris? We weathered the storm for a couple of years there, and I'm so glad that we finished out the way that we did. I was talking to a couple of my other teammates who came in with me, and I was telling them they didn't redshirt, and I was telling them, man, if only you guys would have redshirted, you guys could have came out with the season that we had, and I'm just so fortunate to go out on a winning season, go out with a victory over UC Davis, and just have one of the best seasons that Sac State has ever had.
Absolutely, and again, in a very competitive Big Sky conference, I mean, a number of the teams you guys would go up against, made an appearance in the FCS playoffs. Your defensive line coach, Will Clemens, I mean, exactly how was he able to kind of coach you to the best of your abilities and get the most out of you? You mentioned how much of an impact he's had on your game. How was he able to have that type of impact on you?
Well, with Coach P, he's so knowledgeable about defensive line and about pass rush and about stopping the run. He coached at Fresno State for a number of years. He's coached NFL guys. He coached in the CFL. So obviously he has that knowledge, and just his method of delivering that knowledge is, it's second to none. And when he speaks, he commands respect, and you give him respect, and he commands greatness, and you try to give him greatness. And I've never really had any coach that was, able to affect me in that way.
No doubt about it. Again, we're chatting with Ben Sorensen, the 2018 NFL Draft prospect, defensive end out of Sacramento State, out of the Big Sky, the FCS. Ben Sorensen joined us here on the NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show. And Ben, you finished your collegiate career, your senior season, by having a career year. Again, you finished with 38 total tackles, 10 sacks, 12.5 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery. If you could put into words, I mean, what was it like to, of course, the team success always comes first, but I got to think it felt a little bit more sweet to have the personal success go along with it.
Yeah, it's cool to get that recognition, but, like you said, it doesn't come without team. Obviously couldn't. A lot of those sacks I couldn't have done without the coverage of the defensive backs or Coach P equipping me with the pass rush moves that I use. It's honestly it's just a huge team effort for anyone to have any sort of stat. But it is cool to get that recognition. But it's really not me. It's my teammates. It's my coaches. It's everyone around me that are boosting me up.
Well, of course, anybody could just go on and read the statistics, Ben. But when watching your film and watching your tape, going back and let's say an NFL coach or an NFL scout is watching Ben Sorensen from Sacramento State, what are going to be a few of the first things that really pop out onto the screen, positive wise, that's really going to open their eyes and kind of want to give you give you more of a look, I should say?
Well, first off, that would be my motor. I'm a big effort guy. Effort is one of the main things that you have complete control over. And, I obviously give 100% on every single play, every time I'm on the field. And secondly would be my get-off. I feel like I have a very strong get-off, very quick twitch. I'm quick off the ball. And I got a good toolbox of pass rush moves that I can use to get to the quarterback effectively. And I'm also balanced in the run. I can also stop the run and create turnovers as well, as I've demonstrated over the past few years.
And you know what? One of the very first things I have written down here, Ben, is it's it is that high motor of yours. Your agent Mike was very helpful in sending both your highlight tape and a few game films as well, which again was beyond helpful. And yeah, one of the very first things I have written down is a nonstop motor. I mean, you can't really tell if it's the first snap of the game or the last snap of the game. You're always there giving maximum effort, and you certainly want to see that. Now, I do see the school website has you listed 6'4", 245. About how accurate is that, Ben? And how do you think teams view you as? I mean, do you think there will be teams that will be looking at you more so as a outside linebacker, maybe test you out more as a coverage outside linebacker type of guy, or do you want your hand in the dirt at all times? I mean, how open are you into that?
I think that's another big strength that I have is my versatility. Throughout high school, I didn't play defensive line until my senior year. I was always a linebacker or a strong safety, so I have the ability to cover guys. And I did a lot of zone blitzes and coverages this season. But yeah, I feel like that's a strength. A lot of people talk about, can you do this or can you do this? I feel like I could do both. And I can provide that versatility for a lot of teams, which I feel like would be helpful.
Absolutely. Going back to your brother, again, a college quarterback, like you said, played at the JUCO level, played at even the FCS level at University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Does it help at all having a brother that has played the quarterback position at the collegiate level? I mean, are you able to pick his brain at all and get any tips and pointers from the quarterback point of view?
Mainly, it's just kind of just like me trying to get in his head, just be like, oh, I'll back you on this, this and that, But yeah, as far as him helping me out, he was a huge help, and kind of just showing me the way of what to expect coming into college. And the way I needed to be, you need to be doing these things at this time, this thing at this time. He really helped me out in that aspect a lot. But as far as schematics or anything like that, or what's the quarterback thinking, what's the D lineman thinking, we never really got too much into that. But he was a huge help for me in other areas for sure.
Well, like I said, your agent was a huge help for me by sending over a lot of your game film and highlights and all of that. Mike Abadir, I mean, talk about your relationship with your agent and how you guys kind of found each other and how you ultimately decided that he would be the best agent for you and the best fit for you to help you achieve your lifelong dream.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mike's a great guy. He's been helping me out a lot, obviously, but the way that we kind of came in touch was I wasn't really, I'm coming from a smaller school, my name's not really well known, so I wasn't really getting a lot of contact. So I really just tried to get proactive myself and put together a highlight tape and just started just sending it out to as many people as I could find. And Mike, I got a bunch of responses. Mike was one of those guys who responded, and the reason why he stuck out to me was because he used to represent Simeon Rice, and I thought, obviously that's a guy who's could be a future Hall of Famer, had a great career in the NFL, and if someone's going to be asking Mike what are his thoughts on this defensive lineman, and he's backing me up, then obviously these scouts and GMs are going to trust him because he has that credibility because he repped Simeon.
Yeah.
He's also repped a bunch of guys that are playing in the NFL from the Big Sky as well, which I thought was really cool too. And he also doesn't represent a whole handful of guys. That way I can get a lot of attention. Whereas a lot of these agencies, they rep 20, 25 guys, and some of the guys aren't getting as much attention or as much work as they should be. Whereas with Mike, he's giving me his 100% effort.
Again, he's Ben Sorensen, the defensive end out of Sacramento State, 2018 NFL Draft prospect, joining me here on the NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show. And a few more questions for you, Ben, then we'll let you go. Really do appreciate your time. Like you said, once the season was over, once your collegiate career was over, you did have a lot of buzz, surrounding your name. When did it kind of hit you that you did have a chance, or that you were going to give this thing a shot to further your football career and give the NFL or professional football as a whole a shot?
Well, it never really hit me. It's something that I feel like it's been ingrained in me for, as long as I can remember. I've always wanted to play professional football. That's why I've been playing it for so long to ultimately accomplish that goal. And I feel like I'm capable. I feel like I can do it at a high level. And I just need that one team just to fall in love and just give me an opportunity. That's pretty much it.
And playing in the Big Sky, there's been guys from the Big Sky that has, every year it seems like, that get a shot in the NFL. If I were to ask you, whether it's an offensive lineman, a quarterback, a running back, maybe even a receiver, you tell me. If I were to ask you who the best player has been over the past 4 or 5 years that you've gone up against in the Big Sky, who would that be?
Oh, the best player that I've gone up against. Man, I got to think back on this one. I would have to give a shout out. I would have to say, I don't know who the best is, but definitely one of the better players that I went up against was UC Davis's offensive tackle a couple of years ago. He's also represented by Mike Abadir. His name's Christian Schneider, and he was picked up by the Packers, I believe, out of Davis, but then he was dealing with some injuries, and I'm pretty sure he just signed with the Browns again. But yeah, he was definitely one of the better guys that I went against for sure.
Okay. Well, hey, I mean, he's playing at the highest level there is, so you certainly cannot go wrong with that. Now, who would you say your game resembles the most to at the professional level? Is there really any professional players that you watch and take bits and pieces of their game and maybe add it onto your own?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always watching guys just to see what they're doing. I watch guys like Chris Long, obviously J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney. But one guy that I think that my game is closest to would probably be T.J. Watt, because he's kind of a longer guy like me. He's kind of like a guy who can rush the passer. He can also cover guys, and he can do both effectively. And I feel like if I had to pick one guy to say that my game's closest to, it'd probably him. All
right, well, hey, he's probably always going to live in his brother's shadow, but as we've seen last year, his rookie year in the NFL, he's certainly somebody to be reckoned with, and he showed that again last year with the Steelers. Is there, if you could recommend just one game to an NFL scout to go back and check out, Ben, over the last 4 years, it doesn't necessarily need to be your senior season, but it can be. Which one game would that be?
University of North Dakota this past season, or Fresno State from my junior season, just to give them what I'm looking like against the FBS opponent.
Okay. Yeah, no doubt about it. And of course, teams are going to go back and look at that game film as well, like you said, just to see what you do look like against an FBS program. And final question for you. Let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're tuned in listening to this very interview. Why should they want the defensive end out of Sacramento State, Ben Sorensen, a part of their organization?
Because I'm the type of guy who's gonna come in and do everything right, and I'm the type of guy who's gonna come in and get a lot of pressure on the passer, and I'm also gonna match that with a strong ability to stop turnovers. And I feel like I can do all three of those things very effectively, and I feel like I can help any organization win a lot of championships.
Awesome. Well, that's ultimately the end goal, and you know that, and of course the teams listening certainly know that. And Ben, really do appreciate you taking some time this evening. Wishing you all the best of luck. Again, big thanks to both you and Mike for helping us out and getting this interview locked down, and of course sending the tape on over. That was a big help. Like I said, really appreciate that, and of course, best of luck at your UC Davis Pro Day. Certainly going to be keeping tabs on you and seeing how you do out there. Any final words before we let you go?
No, just thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome, my pleasure. Again, best of luck and take care, Ben.
Thanks, you too. Have a good one.